Hey there. So if you're following tech news at all, you're probably getting buried in AI headlines, right? They're packed with these huge claims and, honestly, a ton of confusing acronyms. Well, today we're going to clear one of the biggest ones up. We're talking about something called an AI benchmark.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a headline just like this one. Some new AI comes out and the company goes on and on about how it totally smashed the MMLU benchmark or something like that. It sounds super impressive, for sure. But what does that even mean? Like, what did it actually do?
Or how about this one? Remember when GPT-4 came out? The huge news everywhere was that it could pass the bar exam. I mean, that's wild. But it makes you wonder, right? How do they even test that? And what does that tell us about how it stacks up against all the other AIs out there? Okay, let's break it down.
All right, Section 1, AI's report card. We're going to get into the basics here. The easiest way to think about all this? Just picture a report card, but for an AI. First up, we've got to figure out what the grades actually mean.
So, at its heart, an AI benchmark is really just a standardized test. That's it. It's a set of questions or tasks that's the same for every AI that takes it. Its whole job is to measure what an AI model can do, and, this is the super important part, to let us compare different AIs fairly.
You know, the best way to think about it is like the SATs. Colleges get applications from students at all these different high schools, right? The SAT score gives them one common thing to compare everyone with. Well, AI benchmarks, they're doing the exact same thing just for AI models. It's that one yardstick everyone can use.
Okay, part 2. Welcome to the AI Olympics. This is all about how benchmarks create a level playing field. And yeah, if the benchmarks are the tests, then the whole scene is kind of like the AI Olympics.
I mean, think about it. In the Olympics, if you're running the 100-meter dash, everybody runs the exact same distance. Everyone follows the same rules. That's the only reason we can look at the clock and say, yep, that person is the fastest. AI benchmarks are all about creating that same level playing field. And it really boils down to 3 simple rules for these AI Olympics. First, you have the race. That's the specific task, like a bunch of math problems. Second, the rules. Every single AI has to compete under the exact same conditions, no exceptions. And finally, the scoreboard. A nice clear score that tells you how well each one did. All right, Section 3, comparing the champions. Let's look at benchmarks in the real world. So how does this actually play out? Because this isn't just some abstract idea. It is literally the main way AI companies go head-to-head and show everyone how much progress they're making.
And just like the real Olympics has different sports for different athletes, swimming for swimmers, gymnastics for gymnasts, AI has different tests for different skills. For example, there's a benchmark called MMLU. Think of it like a giant trivia night that tests an AI's general knowledge across 57 different subjects. Then you've got something like Human Eval, which is all about seeing how well an AI can write computer code. And another one, GSM-8K, tests its ability to reason through grade school math problems. See, each one is testing a totally different kind of smart.
And this is exactly how the big companies use these scores. When OpenAI launched GPT-4, they didn't just come out and say, hey, our new AI is smarter. No, they showed the receipts. They put out the scores from tests we've all heard of, like the bar exam or the SATs. It was a really powerful way to prove just how capable their new model was. So now you know, the next time you see one of those headlines, Claude 3 beats GPT-4 on reasoning tasks, what they're almost always talking about are the scores from these benchmark tests. It's just like the press reporting on who won which event at the AI Olympics.
Okay, part 4, reading beyond the scores. Why a good score isn't everything. This is where things get really interesting. Because just like any test you've ever taken in your life, a high score is great, but it doesn't always tell you the whole story.
So here's the big question, right? Is a higher score always better in the real world? I mean, if an AI gets a perfect score on a math test, does that automatically mean it's going to be great at helping you with your actual day-to-day stuff? Well, the answer is not always.
See, there's this idea in the AI world. They call it benchmark overfitting. Now, that sounds super technical, but it's actually a really simple concept we all know. It's basically teaching to the test. An AI can get so good at acing the specific questions on a test that it gets thrown off completely when it sees a problem in the real world that's even a tiny bit different.
It's that classic difference between being test smart and being real-world smart. We all knew that person in school, right? The one who could memorize anything for the exam but couldn't really apply that knowledge in a creative way.
Well, AI can fall into that exact same trap. Just because it aces the test, that's no guarantee it's going to be helpful or reliable for what you actually need it to do.
Okay, so let's wrap this up with the key takeaways. First, AI benchmarks are basically standardized tests. Think SATs for AI. Second, they're super useful because they give us a fair way to compare different models. Third, they're how we measure progress in the AI world. But, and this is the big one, they don't always predict how well an AI will perform in the real world.
So from now on, when you see that flashy headline about a new AI breaking records, you'll know exactly what they're talking about. And even better, you'll have the single most important question to ask yourself. Okay, that's a great test score, but does it actually matter for what I need it to do? And asking that simple question, that's how you cut through the hype. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer.